games, and I got good at off-cambers.
And
served me well here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it takes. So by off-camber turns, we basically mean you're turning on a downhill, which means the ground is leaning away from you. Say in a right-hand turn, the ground is leaning to the left, so it's very easy to fall over, and the riders have to be careful. David?
Well, I noticed, Ricky and I were noticing that Chad has moved about 4 or 5 gates out to his right. It shows a bit of confidence. We'll see if it pans out for him.
He got the start in Moto 1. Here we go with Moto 2, folks. For the first time ever, live motocross on Network TV. Ivan Tedesco on number 9 has got the start. He gets across the stripe first. So IT makes it happen. Here's the first of those off-camber corners. The track leans away from the riders, but it's Tedesco who's got it. Looks like Short's up front as well, and Reed coming through at about 5th. But right now it's Tedesco and Jeff Alessi, the younger brother of the man who still technically leads the series points, Mike Alessi. Mike is out with injury. Jeff is in second in front of Short. Here comes Reed. They're going to try to triple downhill. That's a tough section.
Gonna have to be very careful these first couple laps, as the riders commented. Track is overwatered, very, very hard. You want to go so fast, but you can't. You got to be mistake-free, man, and not crash and lose a lot of positions.
Well, this time, again, we've got Tedesco and Short, Reed up there in decent position. They all got to look at each other up front. Byrne is up there again in yellow bike behind his teammate Chad Reed, number 26. Chad's 22. And still no Josh Grant. So he's got his work cut out for him again. He did it in Moto 1, and I see any reason why he can't do it again. This track has got lines to pass everywhere.
Short on the 29, able to get around the 801 of Jeff Alessi, so that's put Short into second. It's Honda's 1, 2, 3. The red bikes are up front, but here come the yellow machines, the Suzuki's. Chad Reed working the inside. He won the first Moto. You like that line, Ricky?
Yeah, it is. Looking inside. Is it going to work out for him? Sure does.
All right, so Reed is up to 3rd. Jeff Alessi 4th. And then Reed's teammate, a fellow Australian, Michael Byrne, is in 5th. We've seen these Honda guys out front. Tedesco and Short battle quite a bit this year. Yes, they ride for the same team, but there's a lot of pride at stake underneath that tent. If they want to be the top Honda man, maybe the top man of everyone today. There's Reed in the 3rd. Little mistake there, Ricky.
Yeah, it came into the berm really hard. Sometimes those berms get pushed out, and as the riders keep going, and he just hit it at the wrong time, and it blew out. Actually, we call it, they blow a turnout when they hit it too hard.
Byrne is putting Alessi under the attack. Alessi's going to have the inside in this next left-hand corner, so Byrne will just go around the outside, gets a good running start. Here's a section of rollers and a big jump. Here it comes. Can Byrne out-jump Alessi? Yes, he does.
He's got a little bit more horsepower. Jeff is riding what we call a privateer bike, which is the 2nd tier of the factory support. All the guys ahead of him now are on this full-on. I mean, this is Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
The best equipment you can get. Jeff's lacking a little bit in that area, and it showed up that hill. He's a great rider with the skill to beat Byrne up that hill, but Byrne has got a little bit better equipment.
We're going to go back downhill. This is turn number 2. That off-camera we mentioned. Jeff Alessi doing a good job. It's all about the start at motocross. I mean, you can follow the guys, you can learn, and you can try to go that fast.
Absolutely. You know, it's kind of like having a rabbit out there. You learn the lines. Maybe the guy in front of you is a lot faster. At the same time, like I said, the track is watered, so you don't want to follow too close. You ruin your goggles, burn through all your tear-offs, and but in a couple minutes, you'll be able to go anywhere you want on that track. Use all that 20 feet or however wide the track is and make some passes if you need to.
This is that classic privateer versus factory support battle as you watch Alessi on the red bike and Byrne in the yellow. Alessi has a tough time just getting to the races, finding the budget to get flights, finding enough parts to be able to practice and train throughout the week on the motorcycle and still have the bike race ready. Byrne, meanwhile, whatever he wants, Suzuki will provide him. He and Chad Reed train in Florida together. They've got mechanics that are race-level mechanics just to work with them during the week.
More than just one mechanic a lot of times, too. They got people to help prepare their tracks, and in some cases, they're kind of in the, whatever you call it, where they're able to rent the jets and be able to fly when you want to fly, not have to deal with airports and stuff. That takes a lot out of you. We're only 4 rounds into this thing, and the traffic's wearing on me a little bit at times, and these guys got to go through their week and train and practice and stay in top health, you know.
Yeah. And they've already did it 17 times this year, and the thing that people don't notice is these guys during the week are riding during the week, where some sports you can't do that, you know, like NASCAR, for instance. You can't practice during the week. This, I mean, it's long weeks, you know. You get to the race, you're like, man, I kind of just, it's almost like a relaxing day, especially the Friday before. But Reed in here, I think he's just going to hang low, save his energy, and try to get by these guys maybe towards the end of the race.
You know, watching him walk back to the starting line. He took a little break right before the moto got underway, and he's looking back. Beautiful line up the hill. He's got so much momentum. He can clear the top of the jump and that swell after it. But Reed just looked a little weary.
Yeah, he just wasn't around his bike that much. It doesn't feel bad. There's Josh Grant coming off that crash. Yeah, he's buried. Definitely not making that crash, seem not as bad starting so far back to second moto, but hey, this is motocross. It is what it is, and you got to get up there, man.
Yeah, this is a championship fight. We'll race 12 rounds throughout the summer. This Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, and Grant is right in the thick of that championship run, so he needs to move up, score as many points as possible, even if he can't win the race today. The fact that he overcame that huge crash against 6th in our first race and is going to try to repeat that here in his second race, well, that's a lot of points for him, and he gets around Jimmy Albertson, a kid out of Missouri. Grant puts his head down because he just got roosted. Explain what that is, Ricky.
Well, that's when the guy in front of you tires kicking up little dirt balls the size of $50. About feels like 200 mile an hour into your face. It definitely doesn't feel good.
No. They're going to go downhill. It's another one of those off-camber turns. They make a right while the ground leans to the left. They use those ruts to try to keep their balance, and after that, you still got to jump about 80 feet over a triple jump. That's 3 jumps in 1 step. This is a double jump, 2 big jumps. And Josh Grant, he's just trying to slice his way through, David.
Nice pass.
Yeah, I'm thinking that left line is coming in. It looks a lot better. And the thing for Josh, he was able to carve through the pack all the way up to second in the first moto. And the way he's able to slice through the pack right now and find lines to make moves, if he can get up to those leaders like he did in Moto 1, that'll serve him well because he'll have a lot of ideas and weapons on where he can go and make passes and not lose any time.
Grant in the 33. How tough is this kid? That crash you saw earlier on the show, we thought for sure he was done for the day. He picked the bike up and finished that first race, and he is back here. They had an ice pack on the back of his head and his neck to try to get him to recover for this moto. We were wondering if he'd even see straight. Whether he can or he can't, he knows one thing, and that's twist that right handlebar grip and make the motorcycle go as fast as it can. He is sliced from outside of the top 20 into about 15th place right now. Now you look at the countdown clock at the top of your screen. We raced 30 minutes plus 2 laps, and we're only 7 minutes into this race, so plenty of time for Grant to get through. That's the section where he crashed earlier.
Yeah, not tripling now.
No, he's got to be careful at this point. Meanwhile, you're watching Short and Reed. Looks like Reed is beginning to bear down now on the 29. Reed on the 22, the Australian, really a specialist in Supercross, which is indoor racing. They build tracks in football and baseball stadiums. He has not raced in this outdoor motocross tour since 2006, so he's still trying to get his outdoor mojo back. And he won the first moto here, so that's a good start, but he's not eating up Andrew Short like we saw him do in the stadium tour. Short's a tough customer outdoors, Ricky.
Absolutely. He's a great rider, but the one thing that's blowing my mind is Tedesco. He's kind of checking out a little bit.
He is. But remember, it's still early in the racing here at High Point. We'll be right back here from Pennsylvania. Stay with us on NBC Sports. Welcome back. You're watching the best motocross riders in the world take on one of the toughest tracks in the world. Here is their leader, Ivan Tedesco. They call him Hot Sauce. Originated out of New Mexico. Spent some time training and riding in Texas. Now he's out in California. Also hangs out with you, Ricky Carmichael, in Florida. And all that training and all that different soil and all those different weather conditions is paying off for the man they call Hot Sauce right now. He's out front.
Yeah, absolutely. I know he was wondering if he'd overtrain in the offseason, but I'm telling you right now, all that overtraining you think you do, this is why you do it right here, because it pays off in the long run. And he's working good. He's got a couple great mentors behind him. Obviously, Johnny O'Mara helps him out a lot. He helped me out a lot during my career. Just has a lot of wisdom, and Doc G helps him out. Really good for him mentally, and really good to see. He needs this kind of confidence to get him going. And I'm happy for him, but I expect this from him. So, I see it. I'm not like, wow, man, he did such a great job. This is where he needs to be.
Yeah, he's had the ability to do this last couple of years, but some injuries at awkward times and switching teams and getting a lousy start to the season a couple of times. Nice move, Tommy Hahn. Also a privateer.
Yep.
That's the battle for the top privateer right there. But, yeah, Tedesco just had some bad luck.
Yeah,
now he's helping.
Absolutely. He's had some, setbacks, and at this level, setbacks are definitely not good. So good to see him out there riding good. And the last few weeks, he's been really, really solid.
Tommy Hahn there on the 48. This is his first year in Premier Division.